Hello, I'm Chris Wallace. And if you just tuned in, we're about to begin the first Republican presidential primary debate. And if you're still with us because you watched our event with the lower polling candidates, we're sorry. Now, technically speaking, Governor Kasich should be participating in this debate, but honestly, who would you rather listen to? A boring governor from Ohio or Rick friggin' Perry? We thought so.
And I'm Brett Baer. Candidates, due to time restraints, we're limiting each response to 30 seconds, so make sure you make your point and make it quickly.
And I'm Megan Kelly. We asked the candidates to refrain from personal attacks and keep their points very general and hit on buzzwords as much as possible.
You know, Megan, your voice sounds odd. It's strangely deep. You should get that checked out. Anyway, now that we the moderators have introduced ourselves, let's get on to the debate. Our first question will be a warm-up. How do we address the most pressing issue of our generation, namely global warming? Okay, seriously though, let's get into some background. What in your personal lives have motivated you to run for president, and how does your upbringing influence your values and policies? Governor Christie, you can lead us off.
I'm going to do what I do best, and that's keep it real. I grew up in the hard knocks of Livingston, New Jersey. My father worked at an ice cream factory to pay his way through Rutgers, and looking back at all the opportunities my parents afforded me, I want nothing more than to do the same for the American people.
All right, Governor Huckabee, your thoughts?
I didn't grow up with a lot of money, but I did grow up with a lot of hope. In Hope, Arkansas, and with the blessings of God, I've made it to this stage, and I believe I have what it takes to be president.
Okay, Senator Paul, you're next.
Well, you know, my parents worked really hard to help me get through medical training, and I became an eye surgeon for a very long time. You know, just last August, I was in Guatemala doing surgery and service for the poor people there, and I realized that the best way for me to serve my country was to help it see better, and that's why I believe I'm the best president and the best candidate here on this stage.
Governor Walker?
Well, you know, my dad was a small-time preacher, and my mom was a part-time secretary, and they instilled in me the values of hard work and dedication. And I want to spread that to this country and help create jobs so that from the richest to the poorest, this country is thriving again.
Mr. Trump, your thoughts on the matter?
Here's the deal. Unlike a lot of these other suckers on the stage, I've been a winner since day one. As soon as I was born, the doctor spanked me. I sued him for assaulting a minor. Made my first $1 million. True story. All I do is win. My last name is Trump. That's what I do. I trump. And that's what I'll do as a president. I will win, and I will add my success to the presidency.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Always nice to hear from you. Your background and reason for running, Governor Bush?
I thought we agreed to just jab. I had a pretty basic family background. I went to Mexico where I met my wife. Me amo America.
Senator Rubio, if you may.
You know, both my parents were born poor in Cuba. My dad started working when he was 9 years old, but they both came to America to escape communism, and as my dad working as a bartender and my mother as a maid, they were able to support me and help me get to the place where I could become a senator and now become a candidate for the presidency. And I believe that I am the best candidate to move this country forward and bring it into the 21st century.
Senator Rubio, you are aware that we are almost 1/5 of the way into the 21st century, correct? Don't you think talking about the new century was more fitting in the 2000 election?
Of course I know that the 21st century is already started and doesn't start in 2021, you know, like 21st. But I can see how someone who isn't as smart as me could be confused by that, you know? But you think my PR team would let me think that? No, I would fire them all right away.
Okay. Senator Cruz, your history and reason for running.
I think I know a lot about being an everyday American. My mother grew up in a house of 17 kids, so I know about sacrifice and cooperation. Imagine a kid who grew up thinking he was in the greatest country on the planet. He became a senator and decided to run for president without the help of billionaires. Well,
that kid didn't make it, but I did, so you should vote for me.
Dr. Carson, your take on this.
You know, that's a great question because I think it strikes at the core of what's needed to be a president. You know, too often we worry about who has the most political experience, when really what matters is who is ready as a person. And you know, growing up with a single mother who had a third-grade education and tried to teach me and my brother, I believe that these has instilled me with the values I need to be president. And I believe that it's God's will that I be the next president and serve, because it's not the political class, it's about the people.
Governor Perry, you have the last word.
Thank you. Hey, cut the music. 1 second. Sorry, I was doing a little fundraising down in Texas. Now, speaking of Texas, that's where I learned all my core values. My father was a machine gunner in World War II, and then he came home and was a farmer down in Texas, where he was hoeing and stuff. And it was these values of hard work and ethic that made me the man I am today. And that man is ready to be the president.
Well, there were a lot of touching stories there. I'll now turn it over to Brett Baer for the next question.
Our next topic, the economy, is very impressing to many Americans. As the man in charge, what will you do to fix it? Senator Cruz? The best way to grow our economy is simple. Set a flat tax for everybody and get the IRS and government out of the way completely. Governor Walker?
You know, I took on the unions and I lowered taxes across the board. And besides that, I also made it harder for people to get welfare benefits. Or as I like to call it, easier to get a job. Because see, here's what I did. I made sure that everyone who was signed up for welfare was also signed up for a job training program to make sure they were ready to get off welfare. I also made sure they were all drug tested to make sure they weren't having any fun in their lives. And then I made sure that they had all of their mammograms and prostate exams in the town square so that we could all see that they were being healthy citizens. You see this money right here? Do you see this? This $7, I would rather spend this $7 at the local government than to give it to the federal government, who will waste it and spend it very badly.
Mr. Trump, your thoughts?
Look, it's simple. I know money. I have it, I make it, and I know how to make it. And I will make sure that this country will continue to make it, okay?
Great point. Senator Rubio, your plan?
What we need to do is let states return unused federal funds back to the government and make sure that the money is concentrated in the states' hands, and make sure that we are shrinking the federal government and allowing for our children to have less college debt and are ready to enter the workforce as soon as they leave high school.
Senator Rubio, isn't the idea of high school graduates being competitive in the job market a very 20th century idea?
No, how dare you say that? All my views are of the future, for the future, and from the future.
I see. Senator Paul?
You know, both parties are responsible for the economic crisis that we face today. You know, the debt doubled under President Bush, and now under Obama it's set to triple. And that's the deal. The problem is that we are just feeding this big government and getting bigger and bigger, and we need to return power and liberty to the people, to all people, rich and poor, white or they need the power for themselves. Wait, did you guys just censor the word black?
Well, this is a Republican debate. We wanted to take precautions against any possibly inappropriate comments.
Look, the bottom line is we don't need a Democrat light like some of these other candidates on the stage. We need someone who will be willing to come in, lower the corporate tax rate, and bring manufacturing jobs back to America.
Governor Bush, your ideas?
In my 8 years as governor of Florida, we had 8 years of job growth, 8 years of a balanced budget, higher incomes for families, small business growth. My goal for America is simple: make it more like Florida.
Definitely a good way forward. Governor Huckabee?
I've talked to God a lot about this issue, and we both feel it's proper to abolish the IRS and make April 15th a day of God once again. Dr. Carson, your plans?
Well, first we need to really step back and think about the $18 trillion in debt that we have that's piling up on our kids. And think about the fact that the labor force participation rate is so low. Not the unemployment rate that is manipulated by different facts and figures. The labor force participation rate is so low. We need to unshackle the economy, get government out of the way, and move forward. Let the people do it. We the people. We can do it. We don't need the politicians. We don't need the political parties. We as a people can do it.
Okay. Governor Perry? Now in Texas, I implored legislature to facilitate growth, and through vicious vicissitudes, I got Texas back on track. Great answers. For more, we move to the